All right, welcome back to the Dental Domination podcast. This is, believe it or not, episode 7. My name is Dan Bryan. I am the co-founder of Dentalscapes. We're an online marketing agency specifically for dental practices, so general dentists, orthodontists, pediatric dentists, you name it. We're doing everything and anything under the digital sun, so to speak, to grow your practice and create the practice of your dreams. But today, I'm not here to talk about any of that. I'm here to talk about something that I think is really exciting for dentists out there, has a lot of applicability in terms of practice management and running the practice that you've always envisioned. And so I'm really thrilled today to be joined by Lyn Askin. Lyn Askin is a professional EOS implementer, and he's also a business coach. He's run his own digital marketing agency, in fact, for the last 25 years, a serial entrepreneur, really good guy that I had the pleasure of seeing speak at a conference that we were both at not too long ago. And I can tell you, this is one that you're not going to want to miss. So pay attention, pay close attention. I think you're going to be able to walk away with some really cool, actionable steps here if you're a dentist looking to grow a thriving practice. So anyway, Lyn, I've already talked your ear off. I've talked everyone else's ear off, which is something that I do fairly well. But I want to kick it over to you and ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself. How the hell did you get into, business coaching, the EOS system? And, I guess from the very beginning, before we get into it, tell us just a little bit about yourself personally, and we'll get going from there.
Very cool. Thanks for having me on the show. It's really great to be here. As you know, I'm Lyn Askin. I am a professional EOS implementer. Like you said, a business coach. I coach a lot of other marketing agencies, and I'm a husband and a father and all of those good things. Been an entrepreneur my whole life. Had a paper route when I was 9, mobile dish jockey business in my teens. I think I started building computers in my early 20s, and then actually built one of the first online auctions in 1996.
Crazy.
And I think eBay hired their first employee in 96. And so
wow,
we were in early in the tech world, built an e-commerce store in 97 that I ran for the last 25 years or so. Started doing digital marketing and started helping other businesses, grow their businesses online. We were building websites and doing digital marketing. And I've done that for the last 25 years. But I've had the same challenges that most businesses have, sort of a lack of clear direction about who we were and who we served. We pretty much served everyone. We didn't really specifically niche down. There was a lack of accountability kind of across the board from the team all the way up to the top to me. And I think there was probably, there's some employees that were sort of on board with us, and some that were sort of maybe not. They were just here for the paycheck because they didn't understand our vision. They didn't understand where we were headed. And so in spite of all of that, I actually had a very successful business and have been doing very well and live a really good life. However, in October of 2020, I collapsed in my yard. I had a massive pulmonary embolism. And as that they say that your life sort of flashes before your eyes when you die, and a little bit kind of what happened for me, but not exactly. That 30-minute ride to the hospital felt like an eternity. And all I could think about on that ride there was, what kind of mess did I leave my wife and son? I had a job, not a business. The business was 100% reliant on me. And had I died that day, my business would have failed. My wife would have had to go down to the office and lock the door. She would have had to fire all of our employees, and she would have lost all of our clients. And that would have been the legacy I left for my family. And that would have been their last sort of memories of me is locking up and packing up that building and closing the doors. And thank God I survived. And it gave me another chance to right some of the wrongs and to fix some of that business. And, I got on this journey, on this mission to build something different, to build a business, not a job, build something that I could actually, have as an asset and a saleable item someday that actually runs without me. And I think that's when I found EOS.
It's an amazing origin story, and I'm so thankful that you're here as well. Uh, but EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System. What can you tell us about what exactly that system is, and why is it so game changing? Or, in the words of so many who have used it, why is it so life changing?
Yeah, I think it did change my life. Like as I was saying, that I basically needed to build systems and processes, and I needed to build people. And I did a lot of research, listened to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books about building a company that was sellable, that was a real business. Read the E-Myth Revisited, which is a great book on building business structure. Um, and came across Traction, which is the foundation of EOS.
Absolutely. And we'll
And
have a link to that book in the show notes, by the way, for folks listening.
yeah, EOS is a framework. It's a framework for running your business. It's not magic beans or silver bullets or any of those things. It's simple, practical, real world tools and disciplines to
Yeah.
help you grow your business.
Yeah. And a lot of marketing agencies, yours, mine, although we're certainly not yet to the level that you are, I think we're going to probably have to hire you and bring you in to help us sort shit out. But in any case, a lot of marketing agencies are running on EOS, and a lot of, kind of marketing adjacent companies are running on EOS. But there is, to be clear, a place for EOS across essentially any organization. Is that correct? Or am I misreading that?
Yeah, EOS is not centric to marketing agencies. In fact, I I'm one of about 650 other professional EOS implementers in the world, and marketing agencies are not one of the big uh,
Interesting.
industries that EOS is necessarily used in. And so, I have a lot of EOS clients that are in agencies, just the nature of my coaching business and what I've done in the past. And so I've
Yeah.
built a lot of relationships with other agencies. But EOS is a framework designed to help you get more of what you want from your business. And
Yeah.
our real target market in EOS is entrepreneurs who are open-minded, who are tired of the status quo, and they're more afraid of the status quo than they are of real change, and
Yeah.
they're looking for business growth and business structure, and so it really is applicable to almost any business.
Well, I think, you said entrepreneurs tired of the status quo. I think you aptly described a lot of the dentists that I come across in my day to day work. And so I want to kind of dig into that a little bit. There may be some dentists listening to this podcast thinking, well, for one, they didn't probably get up this morning thinking that they were going to be thinking about a new business roadmap or structure for their business. But EOS, in terms of its applicability to dental practices, you definitely see the opportunity there, correct?
Oh, 100%. EOS is really designed to help you get better at three things: vision, traction, and healthy. And by vision, we just mean, creating a plan and a vision on where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Yeah.
Traction is really about instilling discipline and accountability throughout your organization, so that no matter where you look, you see people executing on your vision. And then, of
Hmm.
course, healthy. Healthy means running a more cohesive, fun-loving
Yeah.
practice, being around people that you like to be around and like to do business with and like to work with.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, that's not the way most businesses are. I mean, there's a lot of infighting, a lot of things, but
Yeah.
you want to. Um, a lot of companies spend, a lot of time on being smart, the things that you do, and very
Yeah.
little time on being healthy. And that's
Absolutely.
one of the things that EOS focuses on.
Well, it's interesting because dentistry specifically, or at least modern dentistry, I should say, there's been a real movement toward what they call team-based care and operating as a team and operating as sort of an organic unit, so to speak. And I think that there's a really cool opportunity to implement EOS in a setting like that, where dentist owners are making a real opportunity to create an environment that is team based. So, what can business owners sort of expect in terms of the practices that you would recommend in implementing EOS? What can they expect in terms of how that's going to affect the broader team, and how can they get people involved in this system that you're describing?
Well, I think that we say in EOS that most entrepreneurs or most business owners are just constantly dealing with 136 simultaneous issues. And so we're all just bombarded all the time with these issues that we have to deal with. And to the extent that you can strengthen just 6 key areas of your business, all
Hmm.
of those issues just sort of fall into place because they're really just symptoms of a root cause. And so, the EOS model is really designed to help you get better at vision. Again, that's about putting the vision in place and creating a plan and a map on how you're going to get there. And then the second key component of your business is really the people, because you can't achieve a great vision without great people. So we do something that helps you get the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all businesses should run on data and being able to make decisions on numbers and facts and figures rather than sort of emotions and the things that
Yeah.
typically drive decision making in entrepreneurial companies. And then the fourth key component of EOS, when you get your vision squared away and straight, and you get your the right people in the right seats, and you guys are working from real data and making decisions, issues start to shake out. You start to become transparent, and then so we have an issues track. Issues component of your business is really about figuring out how to solve those issues in your business as they arise,
Yeah.
solving the real problem, solving them at the root for the greater good of the business. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, the applicability as I'm sitting here. It's just it seems to be almost, to me anyway, a no brainer for the dental context. And one of the things that you said just a few minutes ago, and I've got to keep my notes straight here, because you said like at least 3 things that I want to dig into a little bit further. But the first thing you said was about getting the right people in the right seats. And that, to me, I think has to strike a nerve, no pun intended, for so many dentists listening out there today, because workforce is a huge challenge right now in the dental industry. It's a huge challenge for most industries across the board right now. We're in a crazy market. But, finding the right assistants, the right hygienists, and then retaining them, perhaps more importantly than anything, has become just live or die for so many practices out there today. What advice would you give to dental practice owners who may be listening to this podcast, as far as maybe, leveraging the EOS framework to really go after and retain the right folks and keep those right folks in the right seats? What does that process look like from an EOS standpoint, more specifically than what you've already laid out?
well, getting the right people in the right seats is really about a couple of things. First, it's the right people. Who are right people? We hear a lot of things about A players and rock stars and all of those things. We're going to get rid of all of those sort of labels, and we're just going to call them the right people. And what does it mean to have the right people in your company? These are people that exhibit your core values. These are
Yeah.
people that match the core values of the company and the other people around them. These are the people that if you could clone them, you could take over the world, right? You want that kind of person in your office. And so, we create a handful of rules or your core values for your company, and we use those to attract, to hire, to fire, to educate, and to reward our employees. And so,
Yeah.
people don't learn core values from a poster or a mug. You actually have to live them in your company. And so we help you create your core values, and then we help you match those people up and get the right people on your team.
Yeah.
The second piece of that is getting the right people in the right seats. And so somebody that is in the right seat, it's obviously somebody who fits your core values, but they get it, they want it, and they have the capacity to do the job. And so, you know, it's right people in right seats, and you have to have both. Because you could run into a couple of problems when you hire. You could have somebody who's uh, the right person. They fit your core values and all those things. They're just maybe they're not great at their job, and it's not they're not the right fit because they either don't get it or don't want it or don't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah.
Um, the other problem you could have is maybe worse. Um, you have somebody who's great at their job and they do really well, but they don't really exhibit your core values, and they just eat away at the core of your company. And they're talking behind people's backs, and people don't like them, and they're just creating a culture problem. And so in EOS, we help you get the right people in the right seats.
Yeah. Now, as far as holding those right people in the right seats, ideally, holding them accountable, then taking it one step further, what can you tell me and our listeners about the EOS process for that? So there's obviously scorecards as a part of EOS. We know there's an L10 meeting that you've already mentioned briefly. What are some of the like actionable ways that EOS can help hold teams accountable for results, for even living up to the core values, like you just mentioned as well? But what are some of the practical ways that EOS can help teams get there in terms of holding themselves accountable?
Yeah, one of the key components of your business is in EOS is the traction component, and this is really about instilling discipline and accountability throughout your organization. This is making sure that we're all on the same page. We're all following the vision. That vision is shared by all, and then we help you get into a 90-day world where we're setting 90-day rocks. The word rocks comes from kind of a Stephen Covey um, exercise where he had a cylindrical tube, and he had a pile of rocks, and he had a pile of pebbles, and he had a pile of sand, and he had a glass of water. The rocks are the big things in your life. The pebbles are kind of the everyday stuff, and the sand is sort of the distractions and everything else.
Yeah.
And if you put those things in the cylindrical tube the wrong direction, if you focus on putting the water in, and then the distractions, and then everything else, and then you try and put the important stuff in, they just don't fit. And so in EOS, we help you prioritize the most important things in your business for the next 90 days. And then we have a series of tools and disciplines that help you keep people on track on
Yeah.
getting those big business priorities done.
A lot of dentists will start the day in their practice with what most would call like a morning huddle, or a huddle meeting where they gather everyone around. I have a dentist and a friend who actually will share. In some ways, it's open book finance, with the team, and talk a little bit about production for the previous week, production for the previous day, what's on the schedule for the day ahead, what's going on as far as recall appointments and prophy and all of that. But that seems to me to be in some ways a step toward the L10 meeting, in some ways a step toward the scorecards and identifying these rocks that you're mentioning. So I think actually, as you're saying it, even more the synapses are kind of firing here, where I think there is a natural opportunity for dentists to implement something like EOS in their business that's not necessarily going to be perhaps the Herculean effort that it might otherwise be. Do you think that's fair?
I do. I think that one of my good friends described EOS to me. I asked her, sort of for a testimonial, like how has the EOS affected your business? And she said, there's guesswork, there's hard work, and then there's frameworks. And
Mm-hmm.
EOS is a framework. EOS is the tool and the discipline. There's 20 to 25 tools in the EOS model, in the EOS toolbox. There's a lot of different tools that have been created, and so you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
I love that your friends having a morning huddle in EOS. We want you to have a meeting pulse, and we want that meeting to be the same day, the same time. Needs to start on time, needs to end on time. And if that's a daily thing for you, great. We typically create something called the level 10 meeting. It's your leadership team only. It's not the entire staff, but it's the
Mm-hmm.
leadership team, meets once a week. It's an hour and a half. It's very, very structured, has the same agenda every single week, and it's incredibly effective. It's probably the most effective part of your entire week.
Yeah. Yeah. I should say, my agency is actually we're implementing EOS right now, kind of as we speak in real time, and the L10 has been, I would say, game changing in terms of focusing the agency on what our core objectives are, or those rocks, so to speak, and identifying the issues, like you said, and resolving those in a manner that is much more consistent and more accountable than what we were otherwise doing. So I can't recommend it enough personally. I think going back to the beginning, before we kind of wrap up here, I want to sort of deconstruct this. And they always say, when you build something, sort of start at the end and work your way back. But I want to go back to the beginning and talk a little bit about what are some of those pain points, challenges that the majority of your clients now are coming to you that indicate a need for EOS? If there's a dentist out there listening, what are some of the pain points and challenges that, looking into your crystal ball, you would probably anticipate they're dealing with right now, that sort of are an indicator that it may be time to adopt a system like this?
Yeah, there's a lot. We're all business owners are in pain a little bit. There's always a bit of chaos. Some of the big issues that I think that would more aptly answer your question, though, would be profit or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
We invest as entrepreneurs so much time, so much energy, all of our heart. We sacrifice family time. We give up so much in the I don't know, the pursuit of the American dream and the entrepreneurial dream. And sometimes it's just, you got to wonder if it's worth it. You got to wonder
Yeah.
if there's just enough money in the business. So
Mm-hmm.
EOS is really good at helping you build your profits. One of the other big ones is, are you running your business, or is your business running you? And
Mm.
it's, I think
Yeah.
somebody described their business as a van, like hurtling down the interstate 100 miles an hour,
I can see where this is going.
and you're sort of running behind it. You're not driving. You think you're driving, and you're running behind it, trying to catch the flapping doors in the back, just so you feel like you have some sort of sense of control of your business.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is that sort of thing where your business is running you and you're not running your business. So we're trying to give you more control there. And then I don't know how many listeners on the call have to deal with people.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody from employees to clients to spouses to vendors, and so people are challenging. And so anybody that has to deal with people or profit or if your business is running you and you're not running your business, EOS could be a very good fit for you. Now, I don't think EOS is for everyone, and I certainly think that would be something for you to talk to a professional EOS implementer about, and to
Yeah.
see if EOS is right for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would certainly encourage anyone listening, dentist owners out there who are looking to take back some of that control over their business and ensure that the business is not running them. As you just said, I would definitely encourage them to check out EOS, check out Traction, that book that Lyn mentioned earlier. And I'm going to put a link to that in the show notes. But beyond checking out Traction and this Gino Wickman, who is the founder really of the EOS system, has a number of other books out there that are actually really worth your time, I would say. But in addition to checking out those resources, Lyn, you're one of just, I think, several hundred certified EOS implementers or professional implementers worldwide. How can folks learn more? How can folks connect with you if they want to explore potential coaching relationship or anything like that? What should folks do next if they're interested?
Yeah, I am. I'm super easy to find. My name is very uncommon, so if you were to type Lyn Askin in Google, you'll find LinkedIn or EOS Worldwide pages. But if you were to go to eosworldwide.com /Lyn-Askin, I have a landing page over there. You can certainly search for me in the EOS directory, but there's hundreds of other EOS implementers. But I would love to have a conversation with you about EOS and see if it's a good fit for you.
Awesome. So great. So great. Well, Lyn, I honestly can't thank you enough for stopping by today. Brian, my co-founder, and I, we've been implementing EOS probably more slowly than we probably should, but we're working on it. And it really has been transformational, I should say, for our business. And I do think that there's the same opportunity for so many dental practices out there and other businesses across industries, like you said. But thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your insights and your expertise. I really can't thank you enough. And if I have my way about it, I'm going to try to drag you back on and at some point in the future in some way, shape, or form, because we're just scratching the surface here, not only with EOS, but you're just a wealth of knowledge in terms of entrepreneurship and just a fascinating conversation here today. So thank you so much, Lyn.
Thanks. I'm super proud of you guys for implementing EOS in your business. And just so the audience knows,
well, don't give us too much credit and check your phone, because we may be blowing that up here in the next few months trying to figure it out ourselves.
Well, there's certainly two ways to implement EOS. You can
Yeah.
self-implement EOS. You can read the book Traction and self-implement. It is simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And the other way is to work with a professional EOS implementer. And so both of those ways are good. EOS's goal is to have 1 million companies running on EOS. And so
Yeah.
I think it's a great fit for a lot of businesses. It's not for everyone, but it's a great fit.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with your business and you're ready to make a change. So love to hear from
Awesome.
you, and I can't wait to talk to you guys more.
Sounds good. Sounds great. Well, thank you so much for stopping by today, Lyn. For those that enjoyed this podcast, I really appreciate you tuning in. If you would do us all a favor and just go on to Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a review wherever you listen to your shows. It would be so greatly appreciated. I can assure you the algorithm is brutal and we can use all the help that we can get. But I thank you all for tuning in. Check out Lyn Askin and his business. I'll have the links in the show notes. And if you're at all interested in dental marketing, of course, check us out at dentalscapes.com. We'd love to talk with you as well. Thanks a lot, Lyn. Take care, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye.